This week on Lexington Now, heating safety, preventing frozen pipes, and Lex Do This. I'm Neil Noah, and welcome to Lexington Now for the week of February 22nd, 2021. These past several weeks have brought to the forefront the many dangers that severe winter weather can bring. And one that has been making headlines recently is improper heating safety. Battalion Chief Jordan Saas explains.
The first and most important safety message that we always push out is to make sure that you have operational smoke alarms and carbon monoxide alarms in your home. Those alarms need to be at least 10 years or younger. So if they're older than 10 years, the entire device needs to be taken down, thrown away, and replaced with brand new devices. We recommend that you have smoke alarms in every bedroom, outside of every sleeping area, and one on every level of your home. In terms of carbon monoxide alarms, we recommend that you have one on every level of your home as well. And that is if you have gas appliances, an attached garage, and or a fireplace that you use on a regular basis. Fire hazards obviously are a huge deal during this time of year. In fact, October through February is some of the highest times for structure fires, and that can be caused by candles that are being left unattended or people trying to use those as heat. In addition to candles, anytime you use a fireplace, anytime you're using a space heater, any type of heat producing object, that could be a gas powered water heater as well. Keep anything that can catch fire at least 3 feet away from anything that produces heat. So if it produces heat and it can catch fire, keep that distance 3 feet at a minimum. Newspapers, books, carpet, if you can. That's why there's typically a hearth in front of fireplaces, because it builds in that space that's needed to make sure things don't catch on fire. That goes for curtains and bedding and blankets as well. So there's a lot of things that we want people to know during the winter time, during any time of year actually, to avoid emergency disasters and to mitigate some of the effects that it might have on you and your family. It's all about preparation and what you do before the emergency actually happens. And so we recommend having flashlights, batteries, non-perishable foods, some bottled water available and in a location that you can quickly and easily access in order to be up and running sooner rather than later. Have a list of contacts that you can call, places you can go that might still have heat. So somebody on the other side of town that you can say, hey, we're going on 2 or 3 days without heat or warmth. Can we come over for an hour a day just to warm up, thaw out, and try and stay healthy, get a good night's sleep, things like that. Pay attention to freezing of pipes, gutters. I know personally that people are already experiencing water coming into their homes. As the ice and the snow start to melt that's on their roofs, in their gutters, it's going to backflow potentially underneath the flashing and get into their homes. And so pipes might freeze, they might burst. So it's important to be cognizant of how you can prevent that, because that's going to help alleviate a lot of the damage that people might experience. When it comes to alternative heating, there's not much you can do. If you have gas heat, maybe that's even better than having electric, because you now have some opportunity to still have heat, but carbon monoxide exposure and poisoning is still a prime factor that you have to consider, which is why you need carbon monoxide alarms in your home. Things not to do, but things that we have seen in the past: people bringing in their gas grills, turning on their gas stoves and opening the door. Anything like that is unsafe and is a recipe for disaster when it comes to carbon monoxide exposure. It's important to have layers, so make sure you dress in layers with long johns, sweats, jeans, jackets, clothes that you typically wear outside, you might have to wear inside as well. Find all your blankets, get creative, take the sheets off the bed if you have to. As far as trying to keep your house warm, around doors and windows, you can lose a lot of warm air due to cold air seeping in. So make sure you find a way to seal your entryways, your windows, your doors, to allow the warm air that you do have in your house to stay inside. If people want more information or if they have additional questions, they can check out the website that Emergency Management puts together. They have a whole list of things that you can do ahead of time, during, and after an emergency to be prepared.
As we come out of the deep freeze of the last several weeks, there is always the danger of damage to pipes. Susan Lancho tells us what to do.
Kentucky American Water suggests for all of our customers that they take a few minutes to go ahead and prepare their homes for the cold temperatures, and that includes things like remove your garden hoses from the spigots outside your home and make sure that you get all of those garden hoses disconnected from those spigots, because if you leave those attached, then the water in those hoses can freeze during cold temperatures and cause that frozen water become ice and back up into your home and burst your pipes. So we certainly don't want that. So go ahead and make sure you disconnect those hoses. The other thing that you can do is go ahead and check around your home for any water pipes in your home inside that are on outside walls that may be susceptible when the weather does get cold to freezing during those colder temperatures. You also want to check things like basements for pipes that are exposed in basements that get very cold, because again, those pipes can freeze and potentially burst, and that causes huge headaches and obviously some damage and cost for you in the winter, and we don't want that. So go ahead and take some time, maybe check out some options for insulating those pipes at your local hardware store. And then the last thing that I would say is a really significant step to take is make sure that you and everyone in your home knows how to turn off the water to your home quickly should you have a pipe freeze this winter. And to do that, you want to know where the main water shutoff valve is located in your home. It's often in a basement or a utility room, sometimes in a crawl space, and it's typically on the side of the home where your water line enters your home from the meter. And so you want to look for that valve, and when you find it, when you identify it, go ahead and mark it with a ribbon or a piece of tape or something to let your family members know that should there ever be a burst pipe in your home, that's the valve to turn to quickly turn off your water. This winter, if you were to have a pipe freeze and burst, certainly if it bursts, you want to go ahead and again shut off that water with your main water shutoff valve until you can have time to check with your plumber, etc. But you want to keep that water turned off so that you don't cause more problems in your home. But the other thing you can do to prevent colder temperatures this winter is if you go away, for instance, if you're out of town for the weekend or you have an extended stay away from your home, make sure that when you adjust the heat for your home, don't go any lower than 55. It may be tempting to turn that heat all the way down, but if you do that, you risk your home getting really cold and causing those pipes to freeze. So you want to prevent that by going no lower than 55 degrees. You may, on certain nights when the temperatures are getting really cold, to have just a trickle of water dripping from your faucet to help that water keep moving and again prevent it from freezing. If you do have a frozen pipe, you want to, for instance, if it's under a cabinet, you want to open those cabinet doors, let the warm air of your home help to thaw those pipes out. You could take a hairdryer and blow those pipes. We don't recommend taking any kind of open flame to thaw your pipes because that can cause you other problems. But certainly sometimes it's time is what it takes. And again, if there's any indication that there's a leak that's being caused by that pipe, you want to turn your water off.
When we come back, let's do this. Welcome back to Lexington Now. The city of Lexington has kicked off a new COVID vaccine awareness campaign. Mayor Gorton was joined by Governor Andy Beshear to announce Lex Do This.
Thank you to all of the faith leaders who are here today to give a shot in the arm to this effort and to encourage our citizens to get a vaccine by getting a shot in the arm themselves. We are kicking off a public awareness campaign today. Lex Do This, to convince more citizens to get the vaccine. I'm so proud today to welcome our governor to Lexington. He made a special effort to stop by, even though his schedule is really packed today, as I suspect it is every day. Andy Beshear has saved countless lives in his work to protect Kentuckians from COVID-19. He can't stay too long, but we are so glad he's here to start us off. Governor Beshear?
Let me first start by thanking Mayor Gorton for her exemplary leadership during this crisis. We have talked weekly, if not more often, and she has been there fighting the good fight, also making and supporting the tough decisions. And for your leadership, we are very grateful. And to our faith leaders, I know today is just the next day in your leadership in fighting this pandemic, that each and every day that we have been faced with this deadly virus, you've been out there showing the example and showing the way on how we protect one another, how we do the right thing. There has never been a time more in my life that living out my faith of loving my neighbor as myself and of ensuring that everybody lives beyond just their own needs or thoughts has ever been more important. Without your work, without you tending to your flock, we would have lost many more people. And so while a lot of people try to give me credit for that, this is an us. Thank you for our leadership at a time when maybe it's never, ever been more important, and each and every one of you has risen to that challenge. I'm so happy to be here today. I just got to tour the vaccination clinic downstairs, and every time I get an opportunity to do so, it is a moving experience. When we opened the horse park not that many days ago, to see the pure joy and the purpose and the hope all mixed together tells you that what we are doing here is the beginning of the end of this pandemic. And to know that not every day that we are vaccinating is going to be easy. To understand that there is work that we have got to put in, but to see so many leaders willing to step up and to provide the guidance and the example tells me that once we have the supply, we are going to be able to get this out to everybody who needs it. It's hard to believe it was just 11 months ago and a little bit more that we had our first case. And that feels like a long time, Pastor Gaines, and thank you so much for having us here today. I can't think of, during a pandemic, a better place than a house of God to give people this shot in the arm and save their lives. But 11 months ago, and so I think about how it seems like it's been a long time, but did we ever think within 11 months of a brand new pandemic, there would not only be 2 highly effective vaccines, but we'd already be about 11% through our Kentucky population in vaccinations. It is nothing short of a miracle. We can call it a modern medical miracle or just a miracle. But what we have seen is truly special, and our job is to keep it up.
Sadly, we've lost over 210 Lexington residents to this disease in the last year, and that's what makes this campaign that we're starting today so important. The COVID vaccines can help us achieve more community immunity so that we can begin interrupting the spread of the virus throughout the city. Both vaccine products, as you've heard, are highly effective, protecting over 90% of those who have received the 2-dose series from developing symptomatic illness. And millions have already been vaccinated nationwide with very few severe reactions or effects. So, though vaccine supplies are not as plentiful as we'd like, community vaccinators are seeing more and more, or receiving more and more vaccine supplies each and every week. So it's now time for our 70 and older population to be vaccinated, along with healthcare workers, K through 12 staff, and first responders. We want everyone in the community to be vaccinated. Please be patient, be persistent though in seeking vaccination as more opportunities become available. Let's do this. Let's work together to ensure that all Lexington residents can step up and receive their vaccine to be protected against COVID-19. Thank you, Mayor.
And as the city begins its push for vaccinations, we take a look at the logistics of rolling them out. Here's Kevin Hall.
So this is the Lexington-Fayette County Health Department's third vaccination clinic for COVID-19. We're at Consolidated Baptist Church. Our first time was a drive-through event. We only did about 200 that day. The last time that we did this, there were about 900, and today we're looking at doubling that and close to 1,800 vaccinations to our healthcare workers in Phase 1A. With more than 20,000 Phase 1A healthcare workers in Lexington, it's going to be a while before we're able to go into the other phases. We have on our website, lochd.org, a chance for healthcare workers to sign up for notifications about future clinics, and we want you to do that. We want you to get that alert so you can sign up, get the vaccine in your arm, and start getting protected. 2 weeks ago, we started giving doses to first responders because we knew we'd need their help to get through this. Our long-term goal is not to be providing vaccinations to everyone in Lexington. It's to get the healthcare workers protected so they can start giving it to their regular audience. The people who are coming in for the normal visits, they're going to see those members of the community. One of the biggest misconceptions the public has is that there's a stockpile of vaccines somewhere in Lexington. What we're seeing here with the health department is we get the vaccine in on Monday and we put it into the healthcare workers' arms on Wednesday. No dose goes to waste. So if anybody is wondering why it's not happening faster, it's going as absolutely fast as it possibly can. We've heard people say it's a medical miracle that this is available, but all the greatest minds in the pharmacy industry were working on this to get this out to the public. It's great that we have the vaccine, but it makes too many people complacent because they think that they are either A, going to get the vaccine tomorrow or the next week, and that's simply not the case, or they think that it's just the magic bullet that's just going to solve everything. It is a tool in the toolbox to get us through this. Right now, they need to continue, as they have been, wear their masks, stay at least 6 feet apart from others, and really limit how much you're going out and around others. Once the vaccine is available to you, you're not immediately protected. You have to get the second dose, and then it takes time to build that immunity. So you want to make sure that you get that second dose. I've seen reports where they talked about a person got the first dose and still got COVID. That's because it doesn't become effective fully until you get that second dose. And even then, it's not 100%, but it's still a high level of protection. It's a 4-week interval in between the first and second dose. Now, it can be longer, but it can't be any sooner than 4 weeks. After you get that second dose, you are going to have that protection, but it does not mean that you can completely go back out and live your life prior to COVID-19. You still want to listen to the public health officials. Wear that mask, stay 6 feet apart, and limit your travel until you hear otherwise.
Most meetings at City Hall continue to run virtually due to the pandemic, but we are bringing many of these meetings to you live. Check out our website for the most accurate and up-to-date coverage of city business. And for the latest on how the city is handling the pandemic, visit our official response site, including testing sites. Simply click on the banner at the top of our homepage. That's all for now, but as always, you can keep up with us on social media, check out the latest traffic updates on Twitter at LexRex, or catch our live traffic cams on lexingtonky.gov. For all of us at Lex TV, I'm Neil Noah, and that's it for now.